Thank you once more and welcome back. This is the second video of a demonstration of VLANs. So my name is Gaspar Mbole, your network engineer. And in the previous video, we built this infrastructure that we have here. We provided a lot of explanations and we used the CLI. We're going to see how we can create the same infrastructure using the web GUI mode. It's going to be a little easier, probably going to go a little faster. So we already know what infrastructure we are building, the three VLANs, the ports that are assigned to those VLANs, and the SVIs. We're using the same switch, 3650 with 48 ports, with the same management IP address that we're going to use through a browser. So let us open a browser and go directly to 10. This is the IP address. So we go in advanced. We all know this because the certificate is self-signed. And then we use our credentials. This is going to take us, as you know, to the dashboard. We saw that in one of our previous videos. If you're new to the web GUI, I would recommend you go to those videos that we recorded and you will see the presentation or the overview of this environment. So we will go directly to the configuration because that's where we're going to create the resources that we want to use. That's where we're going to instruct the switch onto what we want it to do. So we already know this interface. So we go to configuration here and we want to create VLANs. Uh, we have them here. As you can see, we are going to have the possibility to create the SVI, the VLANs, and the VLAN group. We're not going to be worried about the VLAN groups. We can create VLANs and then SVIs. But we can also create the SVI, which is going to create the VLAN at once. Let us first of all come to VLAN here. And we create, let us display, this is our design. We're going to create VLAN 51 for the executive, and we assign these 3 ports, 1, 2, and 3. We do that at once. Let's see. You see the default VLAN here. Let's create a VLAN. This is going to be VLAN ID 51. The name, it is executives. And the port we assign to that VLAN are port 1, port 2, and port 3. And we say apply to device. So you can see all these commands that we ran before. We just have one interface here and it works. You can see that VLAN 51 executives with the ports that are assigned to it. Here it looks easier. Then we have the other VLAN here for the marketing. Let us create it. VLAN 151 as VLAN ID. Call it marketing. The ports we're going to assign to these VLANs are 37, 39, 41, 43, 45, and 47. Let us do that. So we scroll down here. So we have 37, 39, 41, 43, 45, and 47. And we say apply. It's going to create this VLAN and assign these ports to that VLAN. See, it goes faster when we use the web GUI. You can have that VLAN here, and we can modify if you want, and it's going to be very quick. We're going to create the last VLAN, but before reaching there, let us create the SVIs. So on the SVI here, let us add the SVI for the executive. We call it SVI 51. The status is going to be like this. Don't worry about those stuffs. IPv4. So we can give it an IP address. And the IP address we give it is 172.22.50.254. So 172.22.50.254. The mask is 255.255.255.0. And we apply to device. Now we have that SVI that is created below here. Technically, that SVI should turn up because we have devices on that VLAN that are already connected. When we looked at the VLAN ports here, we have VLAN 51 with ports 1, 2, and 3. Let's go and see on the dashboard. The switch view is going to show us what ports are having the endpoints already connected to it. You can see in green port 1 and port 2. Of course, port 3 has nothing connected, which is okay. Here we have 26 and 28 that are supposed to be member of sales. Devices are already connected to it, but they are not member of the sales VLAN. 37, 38 are marketing. So when we create the SVI for marketing as well, that's going to be active. Let us create it. And then for the sales, we will create the SVI, and this will certainly create the VLAN automatically. So let us add the SVI here for the VLAN 151. We don't need any description, it's optional. We go to IPv4, and the IP address, we have to make sure we get it right. It's 10.10.10.254. 10.10.10.254. The mask 255.255.255.0. We apply to device, and this is going to turn on this SVI, which is also an interface, as you can see here. Now let us create the SVI for the sales, but you remember we don't have the sales VLAN created yet. Look at the VLAN IDs here. When it refreshes the page, we have only VLAN 1, the default, VLAN 51, the executive, and VLAN 151 for the marketing. You will notice that we don't see the VLAN for the FDDI at this level. We don't care about them. So let us create the SVI here for VLAN 1051. And we give you the IP address. Let us look at our design. 192.168.180.254. 192.168.180.254, and the mask is a /24, and we apply to device. Look at what is going to happen to this SVI. Let us wait for the switch to create that SVI. Do you see what I'm saying? When we created the SVI 151, the operational status was green. But now we create the SVI for the sales department, the operational status is down. This is because that VLAN does not have an active interface attached to it. Let's go and look at the VLANs here. You see, we don't have any VLAN 1051. Now we can create the VLAN 1051. It appears there because we had to refresh, right? Sorry, we had to refresh. We can create an additional VLAN here and create the SVI after. But when we create the SVI, it creates the VLANs automatically. Now we can modify our VLAN by giving it an appropriate name, which is sales. And what are the ports that are assigned to it? 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36. You remember two of these ports were already active, 26 and 28. And because we have at least one port active, that's going to turn the SVI on. So let's see. We scroll down and we have 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, and 36. And update and apply to the device. And let us go and see what's going to happen to the SVI. This is going to turn green because we have some active ports there. 26 and 28. Let's go back and refresh. It's going to take a little time because it is okay. So sometimes it takes a little time to synchronize. Let's go back to the SVI. Okay. Let's look at the ports here. So we have 26 and 28, which are member of our VLAN. Let's go back to our SVIs. It's going to refresh it. Look at that. So it takes a little time to synchronize. Actually, you see, it is green. You can understand what result we get at this point. And we also saw that we can turn our device into a layer 3. So we go to routing, static routing here, and it's going to open this interface so we can enable the IP routing. We enable, and that's all we need to do. This raises the switch to layer 3, and we can save the configuration here if you want. If we change the IP address of this laptop now, let me go here. You remember the test we did earlier? I'm going to do it again. Make this device a member, not IPv6, but for a member of the executive. So I'm connecting. Good. And it's going to be 172.22.50.3. And of course, this is going to be 0 and 172.22.50.254. Let us open a command line. Let us see if we can ping our default gateway to 54. The answer is yes. Can we ping the executive, the marketing, which is 10.10.10.1? We're going to wait. And it's going to say yes. So as you can see, we can route from the executive to the marketing. And we've done this configuration using the web GUI. We got the same result, and it has been a little shorter. So this is what I wanted to demonstrate to you. My name is Gaspar Mbole, your network engineer. If you have a comment, if you have any question, please leave it in the comments below, and I'll be very happy to reach and communicate with you. Until our next video, please be a good network engineer, and see you soon. Bye-bye.